Well, a long-distance swimmer who calls himself the Shark, completing a grueling 22-mile swim longer than the English Channel near the Michigan-Canada border. And he did this for charity, and if that isn't enough, he did this, and you're going to see this in the video, towing bricks behind him. Because, you know, Kelly, like, you need to just add a couple things, right? You can't just swim it. This will possibly land him in the Guinness World Records book. We do understand that's probably the case. A little paperwork before it's totally official, but Jim Dreyer joins us now. So, Jim, people do a lot for charity. You know, they put some pennies in the cup at the grocery store. They might do a walk on a Sunday. Why did you decide to swim all that way?
Yeah, this obviously is pretty unusual, but I've partnered with Habitat for Humanity of Michigan, which is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. And bricks are obviously very symbolic of building. And, you know, nobody's felt more economic pain in this country than the state of Michigan. And, of course, everybody's aware of the economic pain felt by the city of Detroit. So finishing a swim there was also very symbolic. And what we really wanted to show, well, I guess number one, we're selling these bricks to help fund building projects across the state of Michigan. But there was also a message of hope we wanted to deliver, you know, that we don't have to sink with the weight of our burdens. You know, and if one man can pull a ton of bricks, 22 miles, then what are we able to accomplish if we all pull together? And I believe we will have the strength to pull ourselves out of this. And that was really the message that we delivered.
It's such a powerful message, and it struck me as I was reading a little bit about you and what you're doing, is that most of the stories we do about Detroit and about Michigan are, as you mentioned, you know, they're negative because of what's going on right now with the economy. And you had an interesting interaction with a woman who traveled to see you at the end of this swim. Jim, tell our viewers a little bit about that.
This was the most special moment of the swim for me. You know, in addition to media, there was a number of people from Detroit that came out. And this one woman took me aside and she just burst into tears. And she said, Jim, the problem with Detroit is not apathy. It's that we have lost hope. And when you lose hope, you die inside. And she said, when I heard, and she said she herself had lost hope. And when she had heard about me and my swim, she had to come out and see it. And, you know, then she started crying really hard, and she said, today, Jim, you gave me my life back. You restored my hope. And, you know, we embraced, and I told her, I said, your words just inspired me as much as I've inspired you. You know, and I will never, ever forget that. And hopefully that message was delivered to a lot of people, but if she's the only one that got it, the swim was worth it.
Jim, you are sending a message loud and clear to so many of us throughout America because we are standing in the need of hope, and you have definitely shown that by swimming, and you've impressed us all, but more importantly, your heart and the reasons behind what you did, not just for show, but actually to build hope brick by brick, if you will.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I really hope that message hits home because, you know, it's not the time to give up. It's the time to pull together. There's much that we can accomplish. And there's a lot of talk, and things have to start with talk, but it ends in action. And this was my action. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jim. I just got to get this one thing in before, so viewers can fully understand what you did. Because sure, we can all say 22 miles and 50-plus hours and pulling bricks and all of that, but you actually were scared to swim until fairly recently. I only have about a minute here, but can you just tell us a little bit about your personal story?
Yeah, when I was 3 years old, I nearly drowned at my family's cottage. My sister pulled me out of the water, saved my life. I try to remember to send her a birthday card every year on her birthday. And the open water was my biggest fear in life. I took beginner swimming lessons when I was 32 to address my biggest fear, figuring every other obstacle I face in life will seem that much smaller after you face your biggest fear. 2 years later, I swam across Lake Michigan to set my first of what is now 17 world records. But when I start a swim, I always still feel that same fear that I felt when I was 3. When I look at the sandy bottom and I couldn't reach it with my feet when I was a kid and I couldn't breathe, I feel that same fear. But instead of being controlled by the fear, I've learned to control it.
A lot of good messages there, Jim. As someone that's a little nervous herself about swimming in open water, I found a lot of inspiration. I have so many other questions for you. How you did it, how did you sleep, how did you eat? And we're out of time, but I encourage our viewers to look you up, Jim Dreyer, for more of your inspiration. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to your next adventure, Jim, so keep us in the loop.
Hey, thank you so much.
Very inspiring.
What do you think about that? What did you do today? Oh, I just swam 22 miles, no big deal.
For a good cause.